Oh, ladies and sinners, i.e. Vegas sports fans, welcome to the Sin City Sports Show presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Cale Henderson. We're back at it again, folks, every Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, if Adam Karnick and the hockey show get done on time, the neutral zone, which is hardly ever. But hey, they had a great show because they're talking about how dominant the Vegas Golden Knights are. Gotta love those guys, man. They give great hockey analysis, and I know they're on the Vegas bandwagon, and I agree with Adam. Florida's in trouble. And I think the brooms are ready, man. Because this team has been absolutely – the Vegas Golden Knights have been absolutely dominant so far through 2 games. And Florida is just absolutely ridiculous and undisciplined, and we will touch more on that towards the end of the show because that is our main topic tonight. Vegas Golden Knights, they're 2 games away, and we are absolutely jacked about it because – it could be another championship team in Vegas. We had the Ramblers last year. We had the Lady Aces last year. 2023 could be about the Vegas Golden Knights. This is turning quickly into a title town across Vegas, and it would be an excellent feat. Second time in 6 years the Vegas Golden Knights would be in the Stanley Cup Final. They could win the Cup in their second appearance. First time in 6 years. Fantastic expansion draft. Marchessault coming over from the Florida Panthers. We'll get in depth on that, but hey, it is what it is, you know? Vegas is all about Vegas sports. We're always playing with house money, and you can't beat that. Make sure you guys get on our Twitters at SinCity_IESR. Get at me on my social or my personal social at Cale_Henderson. We talk all things Vegas sports, sports in general, maybe some Call of Duty rants from there on. Yeah, always fun. Absolutely always fun. And that's what we do. We love it. We love Vegas sports. So we get back, we're going to dive right into the Ramblers because the Ramblers have a hot start to their season. We're going to go right into the Lady Aces. Again, another hot start. Going to talk about Vegas Raiders OTAs and news, things that are coming out of OTAs, talk about the roster and its current state and what the Raiders are really looking at this year. And then we're going to finish up with the Golden Knights, who are on an absolute tear right now in the Stanley Cup Finals. When we get back here on the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And welcome back to the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Cale Henderson, and we are here to talk about Vegas sports every Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on Spreaker Radio. You guys have heard it here first. Spotify, Apple Pods. Man, we're all over the map. All you guys got to do is review the show, like the show, follow our Twitters, at SinCity_IESR, at Cale_Henderson, just like YouTube. Follows and likes are free. And they help the show. They help the algorithm. Get on it, folks. We want to make this the biggest sports show in Vegas if we can. And I promise you, Larry B would love that as well. We're having a great time. It's been a great, first 56 episodes. It's now 57, I believe. And man, it's been a blast. It's been a quick year, but it's been a blast for sure. Looking at the Vegas Ramblers, they're off to a hot start. I know that my man Taron Rodriguez is in the chat because he's the best teammate there is out there. Maybe Taron Rodriguez can give me some fine points to talk about a little bit with the Las Vegas Ramblers. But the Las Vegas Ramblers are off to a hot start this year. Last week they were first in the league, or at least first in their conference. Pulling this up real quick. Yep, still first in the American Conference with 15 points. Ahead of the Utah Stingers, San Diego, and the Ontario Matadors. Absolutely killing it. Adam Karnick's in the show. Stops in from the neutral zone. VGK is 2 wins away. Absolutely, man. The Las Vegas Golden Knights are 2 wins away. Gotta love it. LOL, we operate on hockey time. for you folks out there listening, this is just him chiming in after I gave him crap about being basically late getting off his show every week. No, I'm just kidding. Not every week. He's actually done a really good job up until now, and I don't blame him because they have a lot of exciting stuff to talk about. The Stanley Cup, man, is one of the like probably most fun events to watch. Um, I think they deserve more viewers. It's the NHL. It's a Canadian sport, but I can tell you guys that the conversations I have with folks just here in Lincoln, Nebraska, or around the country when I happen to be on the move, folks really love NHL playoff hockey. It's just different, man. And this year has been weird. Like a lot of scoring. It's been a lot of lopsided games too. Whereas in the past, I feel like games were more even. I feel like games were more down to the wire. We saw more we saw quite a few overtimes this year, but it felt like the overtimes just lasted longer. This year's playoff has been very interesting. I think the scoring, I think the defense, I think the team makeups, the way that the matchups presented itself in this year's playoff made this year just much more interesting. I mean, look at the Florida Panthers. They were the wild card team, beat the President's Cup trophy, team in the Bruins, which basically had, I don't know, a league record in points and wins in a single season. I may be wrong. Maybe Adam can correct me on that. But there's storybook, man. Like they beat the two best teams in their conference to get to where they are now. And now they're going up against a team from the West where real hockey is played, obviously, as we've seen the last few games. But Vegas, totally different type of team. They're built different. We'll discuss that a bit more later on. But, man, a lot to talk about for Adam Karnik. So I don't really give him a ton of crap. I mean, I'm giving him crap because he deserves it. But I'm not giving him a ton of crap for going over because they got a lot to talk about, man. Hockey is really exciting right now. And I think these first two Stanley – I mean, I get it. We're Vegas fans, right? We want Vegas to win. But, dude, you want to talk about scoring. Like, these last these Stanley Cup final games have been fun to watch. Like, absolutely fun to watch, man. A lot of puck movement, amazing assists. Like, you can just tell who the best players in this league are watching this game. Watching those last two games. The way these guys feed the puck to each other, the shorthanded goals, the power plays, the special teams in hockey. Like, they've been just amazing these first two games. And I know it's been lopsided towards the Vegas Golden Knights, but we've still seen really bright things from the Florida Panthers. Florida's showing an Eastern Conference style of hockey where it's like just nothing but physicality and like they're a big dude. That Florida's a big hockey team. And they play physical. And I think what's helping Vegas right now is they're just faster and they play better as a team. You can tell they're more seasoned. And they've been there before. So it's been a ton of fun, and I can totally see why Adam's always like, he says, sorry, guys. Dude, totally kidding. Kind of. I'm sensing that I need to work on my time management. LOL. Aces in Sky this weekend. Yeah. Sky's got a lot to put up with because the Aces look like they're better this year than what they were last year, and they won a title. Taryn Rodriguez says, I have to deal with Chi-Town Weekly going over as well as Set Point. Yep, I get it. I'm glad you're on the air, Kale. Man, Taryn, you're awesome, dude. You're a great teammate. You're like the best, dude. That's why I always tune in and say hi. I think I'm one of the few people on our team that do it because you're a great guy. I try my best, especially during my busy work schedule and stuff. You kind of do your stuff like mid-Mondays and on Fridays and stuff. I know I tune into your Set Point show more than I tune into the SoCal show, and I will be better at that. I promise that, because I think SoCal is on Fridays, and I got to do a better job of tuning in on that. So, but thank you so much for being a great teammate. He said the Ramblers play Utah Stingers on Friday, June 23rd, and the Orange County Stunners on Saturday, June 24th. They're on the verge of clinching their league. I agree, man. Like they've been playing great volleyball. I mean, they're leading for a reason. 5 wins, 1 loss. I mean, I think their matches played so far is 6. I mean, there's still quite a bit to go as far as the season's concerned, but they're playing well and they're defending champs. It will be interesting to see what happens when they play against some of the guys in the National Conference because I think the Texas Tyrants are a heavy team. Like they're 6-0. They look like they're going to be hard to beat, and they have 17 points. I don't know if that. Oh man, that conference is pretty competitive too, man. The Orange County Stunners and Team Freedom. Those guys are pretty competitive too, so that's crazy. Adam Karnik chimes in. Vegas has shut down that, and it's clearly the better, deeper team. 100%. Yeah, and we'll get more into depth than that towards the end of the show, man. But like, I've just been in awe of the first 2 games. I don't know if things could have gone any better for Vegas, and it just kind of shows like Vegas is a better overall team. If Florida comes back and wins, it'll be one of the greatest comebacks of all time in sports history with the way things have looked thus far. Seriously, I'm not saying they're out of it. I'm not saying there's no chance. I just think it's obvious that when everybody watches these first two games, Vegas is clearly the better team. They have the better goalie. They have the better scorers. They have the better special teams, which is what's been huge so far this Stanley Cup final, the first two games. So clearly, you would think Vegas is going to win. Do I think they'll sweep? It's so hard to sweep at this level, man. Could it happen? Yeah, it could with the way Vegas is playing. I think that Vegas wins in Game 5 at home, which would be amazing, in my opinion, because Florida's going to get one of these next two games. They have to. In my opinion, if Florida doesn't win the next two games, they'll lose no matter what, because I just think Vegas is just so deep. And Aiden Hill is playing on, like, he's standing on his head, man. Like, he's playing that well. He's been absolutely crazy. Aiden Hill, yep. There we go. Aiden Hill's playing himself into a nice payday next month. Yeah, I agree 100%. Like, I said I said what I said, like, right before you said you chimed in. Two more regular season events for the Ramblers and the rest of the NBA. Ramblers won't be playing the Tyrants, but they played the Freedom and won via a reverse sweep. Awesome. Well, I mean, they have it. If I'm sure that there's a tournament between the two conferences, right, Taryn? Am I wrong? I just let me know. Like, if they get to the playoffs and they need to play each other for a championship game, is there a possibility we see those two square off from each conference? Because I think those would be a very evenly matched game. I'd almost even. I know I'm a Las Vegas Raider or Ramblers. You know, I cover them not as much as you, but they're part of my network. I would think that Texas would actually have an edge. What do you think about that, Taryn? Chime in best you can, obviously. And while you do that, I'm going to touch base a little bit on the Las Vegas Lady Aces. Las Vegas Lady Aces are just as hot, if not hotter, than what we've seen from the Ramblers, what we've seen from Vegas as of late. I mean, they've been absolutely stupendous. They're undefeated this season. Like, it's that easy to say. Their schedule has been about as easy as it can get for this team. Let me put it to you like this. This has been the scores. Regular season games starting May 20th. Right? We have W 105-64 against the Seattle Storm. 94-85. Not as bad, but against the Sparks team, which is pretty good, and actually inherited one of the Las Vegas Lady Aces players from last year because they just couldn't keep it. Once you win a championship, you can't keep everybody. Teams are going to come poach some of your players and pay them and do whatever, and it's probably what Vegas felt like was an overpay for them, but it's working out just fine because right now the Lady Aces look better than they did last year. They beat the Los Angeles Sparks in two straight games. One was 94-85, the other one was 93-65. Like, absolutely dominant in the Michelob Ultra Arena at home. And then they played the Minnesota Lynx, won that game 94-73. They're just destroying the competition right now. I just 92-87 is the closest against the Atlanta Dream, but they're in a different conference. 84-80. I shouldn't say that Atlanta Dream is the closest because obviously there's 4 points, there's 5 points. I don't know. It's tough. But so far, Connecticut Sun, which is one of the better teams in the NBA, Las Vegas beat them 90-84. They've just been pretty dominant. And a lot of it comes from Aja Wilson and Jackie Young. Right now they're averaging more than 21 points a game. 31 minutes a game, which is a lot for basketball in general. But they're absolutely killing it as far as point percentage. At one point, like Jackie Young right now is averaging 60% from field goal percentage. 46% from three-pointers. Her worst stat is probably her free throw percentage at 78%. Right? Aja Wilson, 21 points a game. She's completing, or she's hitting what, 57? So 56.8, 57% of her field goal shots. She hasn't taken any three-pointers. She's an inside gal. 79% from free throws. Again, those are the two like worst stats that those two players have, and they're amazing. They're absolutely amazing. They're great players. Kelsey Plume's killing it. Chelsea Gray, even Candace Parker's. You know, she's showing her age a little bit, but she's still putting in the time, and her rebounds speak for itself. Like, she's been pretty damn dominant on the board, and it's helped the team quite a bit. It gives Aja Wilson a bit of a break, and it helps the team tremendously when Candace Parker steps up and does what she has to do. Overall, They're just dominant. Aces point per games 93.1, opponents 76.9. Not even comparable, right? 3-point percentage, Aces overall 34, team 38. So if the Aces had one weakness right now, if we were to talk about a weakness, it'd probably be their 3-point defending. But even 38%, that's not great. Allowing 38% on 3-point is not great. But you have to have good shooters in order to make that an advantageous stat for the opposing team. I just think, what Aces do better than any team in the WNBA is they check the boards, like they do a great job with the boards. On top of that, it is so hard to find a lane 2 points. Like if you're a team playing the Aces, you almost have to take threes because it's almost like a football team playing cover 2. Cover 2 is designed just not to get beat deep. Everything's supposed to be kept in front of the cover 2 defense. They want to keep everything inside 10 yards, right? Complete, whatever you want, but they want to force a third down and long or third and short by forcing you to complete high percentage throws because deep throws are almost impossible to hit in cover 2. That's kind of how the Aces play their style of defense. They shield the 2-point range. They are forcing people to take threes because they like those percentages and they have big ladies that can definitely go up on the boards and dominate. So if teams are missing 3-point shots, more rebounds for AJ Wilson, more rebounds for Candace Parker, which is an excellent recipe for winning for the Lady Aces. And again, they're undefeated. They play the Sky this weekend. Sky and the Connecticut Sun are their two probably biggest opponents upcoming this year because they're both very good teams. But so far, Lady Aces look better than they did last year, and they're defending champs. They're kicking ass and taking names, and you got to love it. Taryn Rodriguez chimes in, and yes, there are playoffs with the playoff format being different. It'll be like traditional American sports playoff. Okay, cool. So there's a possibility we could see the Tyrants and the Ramblers play each other, which would be great. Great for the NBA as well. I think those are the two best teams in the NBA, and having them square off if they take care of business and get to the finals, that'd be excellent for the NBA. The Ramblers, again, killing it. 15 points. They're leading their conference. They'll probably win their conference. The Tyrants, killing it. They're undefeated. 17 points, leading their conference. It'd be interesting to see those teams square off when it matters most. It'd be really fun to see them square off when it matters most. But yeah, Lady Aces, killing it. They're hot. They're playing with house money, just like most Vegas sports right now. Major League Baseball could be on the horizon. We've talked about that a little bit. What's coming to Vegas is that lovely segment we have on our show where we talk about what we think's going to happen, what we think's coming. There's a ton of boxing events. UFC events are coming to Vegas. But the big one right now that's trying to get solved is the where is that $500 million going to come from for the Las Vegas A's? And I'm saying the Las Vegas A's because it does seem as though things are moving in that direction. Major League Baseball has completely waived relocation fees. Like they're completely in favor of the Oakland A's moving to Vegas. And be a huge hit for Oakland, a huge hit for the mayoral office, man. Like I can't imagine people and fans, like unless you're like totally conservative, I can't imagine sports fans in Oakland being very happy. Like wanting to almost burn the place down. That's a bad joke. Bad thing to say. But regardless, I would be livid if for some reason the Nebraska Cornhuskers decided they were going to just up and relocate the Nebraska Cornhuskers. It wouldn't make sense. That's our team. I kind of feel that way about Oakland, the Raiders, the A's. Those were their teams. Golden Knights, they could have left. I don't think that really mattered. But Raiders and A's, they feel like staples to Oakland sports, and they're just not there anymore, unfortunately. And yeah, bad reflection, but Major League Baseball has basically rolled out the red carpet for the A's. Right now what the A's are fighting is they're trying to find municipalities, they're trying to find public money that's going to help them with the rest of the cost of construction on this new ballpark. They have already pledged $1 billion. They've already bought land to build the arena or the brand new ballpark that's going to have basically a quarter it's basically going to be a retractable roof. About a quarter of the roof will be retractable, overlooking the Vegas Strip. I think it'll probably be beautiful. It would be no shock to me if it's beautiful. But overall, I like the idea. The problem is the Oakland A's just aren't as marketable as the Raiders are. The Raiders, and we've said this for the last couple weeks, they received $750 million in tax-free money from the city of Las Vegas because they get 47 million tourists a year, and they know that the Raiders were going to be a grade A attraction for Vegas in general. 100% grade A attraction. And it was not even close. The NFL is a license to print money right now. I mean, look at the Sunday ticket they're selling, right? YouTube's selling Sunday ticket for $350 today. This is the last day to get it, by the way. If you folks want that Sunday ticket, it is $350 today. After today, it's $450, and it will be $450 thereafter unless there's some sort of promo going on. Like imagine you're YouTube and you're having to ask people to spend $450 just to see just for the rights to see games on YouTube. I mean, just imagine how much the NFL has to be charged. They're just a license to print money, man. Like they get billions of dollars from networks every year just to play their games, air their games. So of course the A's don't have the same kind of value. Of course the A's would like Vegas to fork over $500 million. If I'm Vegas, I don't do it. It just doesn't make sense. The A's have been crap. They've done nothing, right? Will their value exponentially increase by moving to Vegas? Yes, I think so. I do. I think it would increase greatly. The Raiders did. They went from $970 million to now $4.9 billion, I think, in 4 years. Now, this will be the fourth year in Vegas. The A's could do that. Not maybe grow that much, but they could be a billion-dollar baseball team. And that'd be a far cry richer than what they are now, because it's just like what Billy Beane said on Moneyball, right? There's the rich teams, there's the poor teams, there's like 50 feet of crap, and then there's the A's. The A's are that poor of a team. That's why they have, like every 4 or 5 years, they have a really good team that makes the playoffs. And that's the reality, guys. They just don't have the money to compete with the rest of the teams. Baseball is one of the only capless sports out there. It's basically the top teams that spend, the top teams that do a great job of developing and spending, they win the World Series or they're in contention. A's just aren't that team. They can't compete with those bigger teams that are top 15 in money spending. They just can't do it. So the reality is, if I'm Vegas, I'm telling the A's to figure it out. Maybe give $250. Maybe, if you feel comfortable with that. But if I'm the A's, you really don't have any leverage. You don't. You'd be happy that Vegas wants to bring you in. Period. Do I think that arena or ballpark would be full all the time? Absolutely. Look at what's happening with the Raiders. It's never a home game. A lot of traveling. Tons of tourists. I can tell you right now, casinos are buying tickets left and right from the Raiders, and they're basically comping them or selling them at the casinos. It's super smart. It's a great business plan. This is what Mark Davis wanted. I think this is exactly what the A's owner wants. So yeah, A's, Major League Baseball, right around the corner. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if we see it happen. But they have to figure out, how are they going to come up with the rest of the money to build that ballpark? That's essentially it, because they can't play outside. Not in Vegas, not in the desert. There's going to have to be a roof. And they can retract it, at 7 p.m. at night or 8 p.m. at night when the sun's basically going down and the heat index goes from being, 115 dry heat down to, 89 or something like that, because it does rapidly drop in the desert. But regardless, they need something to cover in Vegas. Otherwise, it's a safety issue for sure. We're going to go to break here. When we come back, we're going to dive right into Raiders OTAs news, and we got to talk a lot about our Vegas Golden Knights. It's going to be a quick touch base on the Raiders, and then we're going full-blown the rest of the show on the Vegas Golden Knights and how great they're playing right now here when we get back here on the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS, the SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
College football, and do you want to hear a college football show dedicated to all that is college football, including junior college and the CCCAA and the NJCAA, the NAIA, and the NCAA, including Division III, Division II, Division I AA in the FCS, and Division I A in the FBS. Well then look no further. Join myself, Larry B., and my colleagues, Mr. H-Town Blake Henley, and Mr. Christian Espinoza, each week during the college football season for the latest in college football on 3 and Out College Edition, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Everybody, this is Darren Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. We are coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, IE Vegas, ladies and sinners. Welcome back to the Sin City Sports Show presented by IE Sports Radio, where we talk about all things Vegas sports here on IE Sports Radio. And you guys can get at us on our Twitter forums at SinCity_IESR, at Kale_Henderson is my personal. Listen to the replay on Spotify. Make sure you guys get us on Apple Pods. We're all over the place. Spreaker Radio. We have Spreaker podcast app or Spreaker app. Listen to us, man. Like, share, follow. It's free. Takes very little time, and it helps the show. Helps the algorithm. Gets us more attention. And the show deserves it. We want to be the fastest growing Vegas sports show in Vegas. Not hosted in Vegas, but in Vegas in general. I'm going for it, man. Why not? Let's give them something fun, unique. I think this place is unique. It's different. And, I think it's something that can give Vegas sports fans something new to listen to. With that said, I mean we're talking all things Vegas sports, right? It's not just the main ones, but we're going to get into the main one here real quick. Vegas Raiders OTAs are underway. They have their mandatories this week. They had their not so mandatory but maybe volunteer OTAs last week. Rumors are, man, Aiden O'Connell, 4th round pick out of Purdue, is looking very sharp. Smart, making decisive decisions, throwing the ball very well. Guy does not look very athletic. I mean, he doesn't look like he's going to scare anybody. He reminds me like a Matt Schaub out there, man. Like he's just, I don't know if he's imposing, but the guy, when you look at his film at Purdue, he was a very decisive quarterback. And honestly, Jeff Brom ran a tight ship there. Jeff Brom did an excellent job of challenging quarterbacks. I think Aiden O'Connell being successful and learning and doing what they have to do helps Aiden O'Connell. It might make him a long-term backup. I don't know if he's a starter. I could be wrong. He could be a starter. He could be the greatest Raiders quarterback of all time, sooner or later. We don't know. He was drafted in the 4th round. They must have felt comfortable with him. Rumors are looks like Tom Brady out there. He's decisive. He knows the offense, and he's smart. Cool. I hope he turns into Tom Brady. I hope the Raiders win 6 Super Bowls with the guy. I would like him to change his number from 4 to 16, though. Like, his college number was dope. It would be nice to see a number 16 in a Raiders uniform. Let's move on from 4. That's all I got to say. Let's move on from 4. Because at this rate, number 4, our former quarterback, is probably going to have a lights-out season with the Saints, as long as he stays healthy. Things are looking pretty scary over there in New Orleans. Chandler Jones has shedded weight, so hopefully that helps him. A little bit more speed. He believes it's going to help with his endurance. Played a little heavier than what he wanted to last year. He's down to about 255, which is, for a guy his size at like 6'4", 6'5", that's pretty. I mean, he's pretty lean. Max Crosby, you know him, man. He's an all-pro. He's absolutely killing it. He's been in great shape. Him and Chandler have been working out a lot together. Tyree Wilson's been joining them. I think you have a 3-headed monster there that could really start hitting their stride if they do it right, which is kind of scary. To think about it, you have a veteran guy like Chandler Jones he's in the back end of his career for sure. He's long in the tooth, but if he can give you 10 really good games, like a sack each, so 10 of them, right? Maybe he has to sit out some time. You have a situational pass rusher, a rookie, a guy that is big. He's got a mature body for his age. I think Tyree Wilson can step in. Remember, Malcolm Kuntz is still on this roster. Malcolm Kuntz could be easily a situational pass rusher. When you look at the defensive line, the weakest spot is definitely the interior. But when you think about it, the pass rushers, I think it improved. And you have 4 guys that I think that could come in, and if they do it right and Patrick Graham does it right, you have a pass rush for once, which would be scary because the Raiders haven't had one of them since Khalil Mack. And even when Khalil Mack was here, they were forcing turnovers, but the sack totals still weren't that high. You know what I mean? They weren't grossly offensive to the point where like you had to worry. But hey, that pressure, the pressures on the other hand, got in the quarterback's heads, and it did cause turnovers because that year in 2016 when Khalil Mack and Bruce Irving were absolutely killing it on the defensive line, they were forcing turnovers. Raiders were like, I think they were second in the league in turnover differential, only behind the Chiefs, who eventually I think they won the division. Shouldn't have. The Raiders should have because Derek Carr couldn't stay healthy. Not his fault. Bad call by the coaches to keep him in, but I'm not bitter. Regardless, we haven't seen a pass rush since 2016. Much of one. And even in 2016, sack totals were low. The defense has been 20th or worse for 2 decades. It has been a long time since the defense has been relevant. That's the one thing I can tell you guys about this Raiders roster right now. I am not entirely positive this Raiders roster is going to have a defense that is still going to... I don't think they'll be a top 20 defense. I just don't see it. A lot of youngsters, a lot of guys trying to learn. I just don't see it. Patrick Graham looked like he was lost last year. It doesn't seem like he knows what to do with the safeties. They just look lost. So I'm worried about the defense. I think offensively it probably will be more efficient this year. If Jimmy G stays healthy, it will be more efficient this year. Will he be godly better than Derek Carr? No. I don't think so. And honestly, I don't think Derek got a fair chance. It's quite obvious that Josh kind of had his mind made up after a few games about what he wanted to do with Derek Carr. It was pretty obvious. But it is what it is. Derek Carr's a West Coast quarterback. Josh McDaniels, he's a proven offensive coordinator. He's a shit head coach. 17-28. That's how I know Josh McDaniels right now, and he just seems like a disingenuous little weasel. I have a hard time dealing with him. Regardless, I hope they win. I hope they change everybody's mind. I hope they win the division. I really do. I just don't see it. Right? Adams is going to be fine. I think I really like the draft picks. I think Tyree Wilson will be a situational guy. He's not going to be asked to play all the time. Maybe 50% of the snaps to keep Chandler Jones fresh, and towards the end of the season, maybe we lean on the rookie more if we're out of the playoff hunt, just to get more reps in. If we're in a playoff hunt, I think we'll see more Chandler Jones because of experience. That just kind of seems to be the Patriot way. Love the new tight end. I think he's going to be fine. I really do. I think he's going to be great. And I don't think he's baby Gronk. I hate it when people say that. But he's going to be open because unlike Notre Dame, where in Notre Dame he was double teamed almost every play because he was the only dude at Notre Dame, you have Devontae Adams, you have Jacoby Myers, you have Hunter Renfrow, you have guys you have to worry about here in Las Vegas. You have Josh Jacobs, you have that backfield. You have guys you have to worry about here. Heaven forbid we use Zamir White. I mean, God forbid we use Zeus. Like, we drafted him in the 3rd round last year and he got like 10 carries. Heaven forbid we use him, right? The Georgia beast, Georgia running back beast. I mean, I'd love to see that. There's just a lot of weapons to cover on this team. I think Michael's going to be open. I really do. I think 87 is going to be open, and we're going to see some good things out of him. Austin Hooper's on this team as well. There's a lot of weapons on this offense. There could be, Terrence says Raiders are a mega dark horse, but their future looks bright depending on who they keep and cut. Yeah, I agree. I can see what you're saying there. I just don't believe in the coaching, man. Josh McDaniels just doesn't do it for me right now. I truly don't think we'll win with a winning season. I say this. I'm seeing 8 wins. I see 8 or 9 wins. Okay, 8 wins is 8-9. That's an improvement by like 1 game. That's fine. 9-8. That's a better improvement because you have a winning season. The way I look at it is this, Taryn. It's not so much that the Raiders can't compete because I think they will find a way to compete. The problem is The AFC West is so, dude, the Chiefs and the Chargers are so top heavy. Like, they're so good. Seems like every big tight end is called Baby Gronk. Bears had a guy, Adam Shaheen, from a D2. They're not even this. Dude, stop. Michael Mayer and Adam Shaheen aren't even the same guy. Not even close. Okay? Michael Mayer looks more like Gronk than Adam Shaheen does. He's got the track record and what he did at Notre Dame, and he was basically a single man wrecking crew in the receiving corps. Michael Mayer is going to absolutely kill it. He's closer to Gronk than ever. I think he might be slower than Gronk, to be honest, but I'm not worried about Michael Mayer being covered completely because there's just too many other weapons for defenses to. If you put a guy on Michael Mayer, you do not have two guys on Devontae Adams, and that's an absolute nightmare. Straight up. If you have two guys on Devontae Adams, you don't have enough guys for Michael Mayer. You don't have enough guys for Jacoby Myers. You don't have enough guys for some of the speedsters they added. I'm sorry, man. I just don't see it. Like, there's just going to be a lot of points. The problem is the Raiders' defense is trash, and they can't keep points off the board. They just haven't been able to for years. There are games where they play really well, and then, majority of the season for the last 20 years, they've been really bad. So that's where I'm at with the Raiders. I just don't see them finishing better than 8 wins. If they do, egg on my face, I'm extremely happy about it. Extremely happy about that. I just don't see it. And I wonder if we'll see a brand new head coach next year. If Josh McDaniels finishes with another losing season after going out and picking his quarterback, can he stay? I don't know. I think Ziegler stays because I think he's doing an excellent job. His contract structure is second to none in the NFL. I just don't see Josh McDaniels staying. But it is what it is. We're transitioning over to the relevant team here in Vegas right now, and that's the Vegas Golden Knights, who are up 2-0 in the series against the Florida Panthers. They've been absolutely killing it this series, with a combined score for 2 games, by the way, which is 13-4. The Golden Knights, it hasn't even been relatively close. The Golden Knights have been absolutely dominant. They've been dominant penalty minutes. They've been dominant with special teams, penalty kill, power play percentage. They're absolutely dominating the Florida Panthers. The only thing the Florida Panthers are winning in right now is penalty minutes, right? Time on the penalty kill, suspended players or ejected players, and that's another subject. Tkachuk should not be allowed to play. I know the NHL is worried about their viewership because it's as fragile as it can be, being that it's a Canadian sport in America. But the reality the reality is, you have an absolute dumbass out there just going out and punching people when their arms are tied up and stuff. They're just straight cheap shots consistently. This guy may have been able to get away with it during the regular season in Florida because nobody's watching those games. But guess what? There are millions of people watching these games. They see all the replays. This guy is blatantly punching dudes, sticking people in the back. He's got a rap sheet. He's been suspended 6 times by the NHL for dirty plays. He was suspended 4 games last year. This guy needs to be tossed for a game, man. The NHL has to step up and do something, because I get that they're just trying to be competitive, but this guy at this point just seems like a jackass. 2 straight games in a row you get ejected in the final 5 minutes because you can't keep your shit together. You're a grown-ass man. You're a grown-ass man playing a competitive game. You're getting dominated, and this is how you react? It just looks horrible. If I'm the NHL, I sit him a game. Yes, that puts the Florida Panthers at risk, but they already look horrible. Like, could they look much worse on paper in the image of the NHL fans? Could they look much worse than what they do now? Probably not. Sick Tkachuk, he's an absolute joke. The guy should not be just walking around and punching people in the face. Sorry, I shouldn't say walking around. Skating around and punching people in the face. And I know what he's trying to do. Florida, they're a slower team. They're a big physical team. When they go down, they like to try and rile up the other team. They want to get on the penalty kill, or they want to get on the power play. They hope that teams engage with them so that way they can go on a 4-on-4. It's something they were really good at. That's part of why they made a huge deep run to get into the playoffs, and then they basically beat other teams. They know how to play physical hockey, and they know how to get under the skin of the opposing teams. And they just have not been able to do it with the Vegas Golden Knights. But guess what? There's replays everywhere. They can't get away with the same crap they used to. They're going to have to come up with they're going to actually have to play hockey. It's that simple. And when you look at the team, I'm going to put it like this. Tkachuk had over 70 points this year. He's probably the best player in the series. Maybe. Like, best overall talented player in the series. Maybe. It could be Jack Eichel. You could argue Jack Eichel. This is what's incredible about the Vegas Golden Knights. Not a single player on the Vegas Golden Knights roster totaled more than 70 points. And for you viewer or you listeners out there, 70 points means goals and assists, right? Goals and assists through 82 games. Not a single Vegas Golden Knights player totaled 70 points. Here's an even more impressive stat. Like, that sounds bad, right? But they were the number 1 team in the West. Do you want to know why? They were second in the league in points per game or goals per game, which is like 4.3 per game. Throughout an entire 82 game season, that's incredible. They were second in the league to only the Bruins, who were the President's Cup trophy. Bruins had some point leaders, big time, in this year's league. Vegas Golden Knights, not so much. But they play as a team. The highlights from just last game alone show you what we're looking at when we talk about that. Vegas Golden Knights, and one thing I was kind of explaining to my significant other the other day, is they're one of the best hockey teams in the league by far. When they have a player with possession of the puck behind the net and they're waiting for those two laners to crash the net, you guys understand what I'm talking about, where there's a player controlling the puck behind the net, they've retrieved it, they're in the offensive zone, and you have two Golden Knights players basically crashing at an angle towards the goalie from each side. They have scored more goals in this playoffs crashing the net than I've seen anybody, and it's an amazing design. They're smooth, fluent passes. Their transition hockey game, we've talked about it all season. I've had no problem saying that the Vegas Golden Knights have the best transition hockey there, man. They pass the puck better than anybody, man. They're crazy good, and that's part of what I'm talking about. The Jack Eichel feed, man. What was that for goal number 6? The Jack Eichel feed to Marchessault, I think it was Marchessault, was absolutely incredible, man. The guy had come back from like being basically knocked out of the game. They thought he had a concussion, whatever. Dude comes back. He fights for a puck off the boards with a big physical, a Florida player that's much bigger than him. He fights it off. He gains possession, and he just throws the puck to the middle of the ice where a Golden Knights player who's crashing the absolute net gets a one-on-one with the goalie. I mean, they figured out Bobrovsky because Bobrovsky's being put in tough situations. And I think that they know that Bobrovsky's weak spot is that low stick side and that low glove side, man. They've been exploiting that the whole series. Like, I'd say more than half of their 13 goals were at that low glove side. It's been pretty embarrassing, to be honest. Like, Bobrovsky's had a hard time. I just don't. Yes, 100% Adam, and he took a hit. He took a big ass hit, but he fed it, dude. Like he's playing lights out. He doesn't get enough credit, man. The guy's got like 4 assists so far in these first 2 games, which is an incredible stat by itself. He's playing lights out. He's not even scoring, and he's doing what he has to do, man. He's been absolutely phenomenal for this team. Mark Stone has been phenomenal. Brad Marchessault, my God, dude. Him and Mark Stone have absolutely killed it when it comes to goal scoring. And then William Karlsson, who's leading the team in goals. Like, just listen to those names I just listed off, man. Not to mention, we haven't mentioned Riley Smith, right? Riley Smith's on this team. Phil Kessel. He's a legend, the Iron Man of hockey. Aiden Hill is standing on his head. Look at the roster construction here, Adam. We were talking about it before the season even started. We're like, how can this team continue to afford what they're doing, right? Like, we know that they love to use their draft capital to bring in a winning team, but dude, and their farm has to be basically empty. Like, let's be real. They've traded away guys because they want to win, but let's look at this team. They have one of the best constructive teams we may have ever seen in at least the modern NHL. And it's hard. Like, you have Jack Eichel, you have Marchessault, you have Mark Stone, Riley Smith, William Karlsson, who's leading the team in goals, which is absolutely incredible. Like, those 5 guys alone are incredible. Then you have Shea Theodore on the other end, former Duck, who's absolutely playing out of his mind on the defensive end. Aiden Hill, again, standing on his head. When we say standing on his head, it means he's like legit standing on his head and he's still blocking goals. Like, he's playing that out of his mind, like good at goalie. I don't know, man. This team is just a complete team. And that's why I wouldn't be surprised if there's a sweep. That's why I'm not surprised this is domination. I think that the Florida Panthers are a better matchup for the Golden Knights than maybe the Bruins would have been, or the Leafs. Like, this series would probably be a whole lot closer and maybe go to Game 7 if it was any other team in the Eastern Conference. I just think the Golden Knights are a better overall team. I think they skate faster. I think their transition hockey, so when they do cause turnovers or when they get that puck, they do better. They do a great job, and they've done better than anybody in the playoffs thus far, of creating 3v2 or 2v1 transition hockey where the defense is just on a disadvantage, and Florida is just not that type of team. They're not built on speed. They're just big physical players. It's big physical hockey. It's big boy hockey over there. They just can't keep up with these Golden Knights right now. And I may be overblowing it because it's only 2 games in and they have to win 2 more games to win it all. But the reality is this, man. They just look faster. They look like a better team. Their goalie looks better. I mean, their special teams have been absolutely fantastic. When I say special teams, we're talking penalty kill and power play. They've been lights out. I want to say like they're 90% in power play in this final so far. Like, what? Dude, they've had like 8 chances. I think they scored like 7 times in power play. It's been absolutely incredible. And they're doing a good job of not reacting to the Florida Panthers, because the Florida Panthers love to play physical. They like to play a little gritty and dirty, and they want to get a reaction out of their opposing team. They want the opposing team to play out of their comfort zone and force bad plays and penalties, and just the Golden Knights just haven't done that. And I'm pretty sure their scouting department just has done a grade A job of kind of deciphering what the Florida Panthers are really good at. And they basically said, hey guys, whatever they do, don't react to it, play your game. Because ego aside, we're trying to win a chip. And right now, man, they're 2 games away, and it looks like it could happen. The Vegas Golden Knights are just incredible. They look incredible. I hope they've actually been a great team on the road. The road teams, I think Adam kind of shared this stat with me earlier this season. Road teams have a better record than home teams this year, which is absolutely incredible in the playoffs, which bodes well for the Knights because they've been lights out on the road this playoff. I think they drop one of the next 2 games. I don't disagree with anything that Terrence said there on the neutral zone. But I do think that the Vegas Golden Knights, no matter what, they either win in the sweep or they win in Game 5. Because this, so far from what I've seen from a momentum perspective, again, 13-4 is the goal total in favor of Golden Knights in 2 games. We're talking about 13 goals in 2 games, guys, in a final. Stanley Cup final. The 2 best teams in hockey is what we're seeing. And the Golden Knights are 9 goals better than the best team in the East. Say what you want, man. I just think it's the Golden Knights year, man. It just feels like the Golden Knights year, and I have no problem saying that. None. None whatsoever. I have no problem saying that. I think the Golden Knights are just, they're crazy. And Adam Karnick chimes in and says, Knights have had 9 different goal scorers in these finals. Eichel is not yet on the list. Right, but he has 4 assists. He's responsible for 4 of those scores. 9 different players have scored goals in the finals alone. 9 of 13 goals are from 9 different players. What? It's absolutely incredible, man. Golden Knights are killing it. Vegas is killing it. Lady Aces, Ramblers, Golden Knights. Now all we need is the Raiders to pull their heads out of their ass, and we have a quadruplet, man. Right now it's a trifecta, but it's not a huge one. We need the Raiders to just figure it out, man. Maybe Tom Brady owning the team will help. Yeah, crazy deep team. Unbelievably deep team. This is one of the, and I don't know, you could tell me I'm wrong, Adam, but this could be one of the better teams assembled we've seen in the modern NHL. Like, this team is just so good. So deep. Game 3 tomorrow night, guys, in Florida. It'll likely be a 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time type game, or maybe a 6 p.m. Central. No, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I almost guarantee that because they want to get as many viewers as possible on a Wednesday night. I will definitely be watching it as soon as I get done with our 7v7 tournament tomorrow. Super excited about the Golden Knights. Thank you, Taryn. As always, you're a great teammate. Adam, you're the best. Excited, man. Vegas sports is exciting, and you guys know we cover it every week here first. This is the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Oh, correction. Adam Karnick said 7 Central Standard Time Thursday night will be Game 3. So they're giving a couple-day break. I can't blame them. And Panthers need it. Golden Knights not so much, but the Panthers need it. And again, Tkachuk should be suspended. He's a piece of trash. This is the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Cale Henderson. You guys can get at us on our Twitter forums, at SinCity_IESR, at Cale_Henderson, and catch the show on Spreaker Radio app, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Pods. We're all over the map. Review our shows, like, share, follow. It's free, and it helps the show. On top of that, tune in every Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we talk all things Vegas sports. As always, folks, love, peace, and hair grease.